The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, May 5 to May 23, reveal that scandalous secrets will threaten to spill while Audra Charles tries to come up with some evidence for Victor Newman. Phyllis Summers will also plot a power play, so let's talk about all the GC shockers to come. During the week of May 5 to 9, Phyllis' revenge promise will leave Sally Spectra fearful, but Billy Abbott will try to convince her that Phyllis won't be a problem for them. However, Phyllis has proven that she knows how to stir up major mischief when she puts her mind to it. It probably won't be long until Phyllis is nailing down a vengeful plan and making some bold moves. Speaking of bold moves, Victor Newman will make several of them. Y&R fans will see Victor badger Billy to get a reaction, and he'll test Chelsea Lawson's loyalty to Newman Media as well. Victor will also deliver a blow to Kyle, who'll fly into a rage and seek Jack Abbott's support. The longer this feud goes on, but more Kyle will worry about losing Claire Newman over all the chaos. Nevertheless, Nikki Newman will give Claire some guidance and may try to make her see that Victor's approval doesn't have to carry so much weight. If Victor can't get on board with Claire's relationship with Kyle, she may just have to learn to live with that. Of course, Victor's efforts to derail Claire and Kyle's future could be the real issue. Audra has been tasked with providing proof that she's taking steps to demean Kyle and ruin his romance. So we'll see if she can offer evidence in exchange for funding. The week of May 12 to 16 will bring Audra's chance to chip away at the trust between Kyle and Claire. If Audra can do something to stir up some trouble, maybe Victor will give her a little vibrant seed money and encourage her to keep going. However, Audra may have her work cut out for her if Claire needs to lean on Kyle after Cole Howard's diagnosis. There's no word yet on what illness Cole might be facing, but it seems likely his test results will reveal terrible news. If Cole's doctors make some fatal predictions about his condition, Claire and Victoria Newman may have to process some horrible updates. As for Mariah Copeland and Tessa Porter, their marriage may be headed for a blow-up if Mariah finally can't take the guilt any longer. Tessa might pry the truth out of Mariah, who made a massive drunken mistake while she was away. Will Tessa forgive whatever Maria did? Is this another Y&R cheating scandal, or did Maria do something else that'll somehow rock Tessa to the core? Amanda Sinclair's comeback is on the way soon, so there may be some Amanda-related developments during the week of May 19 to 23. Regardless, Amanda and Devin Winters could have some intriguing temptation ahead of them. It looks like some familiar feelings will come into play once Devin and Amanda are sharing the screen again. Amanda may play a role in the Aristotle Dumas story as well, but who exactly is the man behind this mysterious persona? Lily Winters may face some snags as she fights for a meeting with Aristotle himself. May 21 will also bring a special episode that's all about 3 significant romantic duos. Victor and Nikki will be featured along with Michael Baldwin and Michael Baldwin. Look for Jack and Diane Jenkins Abbott to be part of the fun as well. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Jolie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Tuesday, May 6, reveals that Cole Howard's test results will loom, while Billy Abbott's move sparks Jack Abbott's outrage. Now that Cole has been seen by a doctor off-screen, it's just a matter of waiting for the test results to come in. Victoria Newman will definitely worry about Cole's scary condition, so she'll share her concerns with Nick Newman. Nick will be there to support Victoria in her time of need. Once Victoria talks about Cole's medical ordeal, she might give Nick updates on Claire Newman's decision to move in with Kyle Abbott, too. Although Victoria feels like Claire and Kyle are rushing into this relationship milestone, Nick may give her some advice about learning to accept what they can't change. Whether this is a mistake or not, Claire has to make her own choices. Other Y&R spoilers say Maria Copeland will exhibit some odd behavior that leaves Tessa Porter unsettled. The more Mariah tries to pretend everything's fine, the more Tessa will see that's not the case. Mariah recently told Sharon Newman about doing something dreadful on her business trip. Although Sharon pushed Mariah to confess to Tessa, Mariah clearly intends on taking this secret to the grave instead. Mariah has been making some terrible predictions about how Tessa would react if she knew what went down. Whether Mariah cheated or committed some other awful offense, she just wants to bury this blunder forever. Of course, plans like that never work out very well on soaps. That's why Tessa's suspicions will be on the rise as Mariah struggles to keep a lid on her apparent betrayal. Since Tessa has been hanging out with Daniel Romalotti Jr. a lot lately, he may see that something's on her mind. Daniel might have a chance to be a confidant for Tessa and offer some guidance when she frets over Mariah. Across town, Diane Jenkins Abbott will admit to Jack that not everyone approved of the Abbott house changes. Billy Abbott had a negative reaction that broke Diane's heart, so she'll fill Jack in on Tuesday's episode. It looks like Diane will express some regrets over the remodel and wonder if it was a mistake to make her mark on the mansion. However, Jack will think Billy's being too harsh and will decide his brother needs to apologize. Once Jack finds out Billy hurt Diane's feelings, he'll be outraged over the news and will plan on ripping into his brother. We see what you're up to, young and restless. You're playing off Cole's cough as but a bug. But his cold is sure to turn out to be something far worse, fatally worse. It's the old bait and switch. The show has told us over and over again that Amy is dying. But now that she's in an experimental treatment program, you watch. She's going to be miraculously cured, and it's going to be Cole that kicks the bucket. Honestly, we understood why the show brought the long-gone character back, in order to ground the newly introduced Claire in some real history. We even got why the powers that be felt that they could justify pairing Victoria with her ex. After conniving Ashland and Nate the Snake, Cole would have felt familiar and safe to the beleaguered exec. She needed a dang break. Now though, J. Eddie Peck's character has served his purpose. He's helped Claire over the hump of getting to know and feel a part of her newfound family. He's given Victoria a moment of calm. So it's time for her to move on to a love interest who is more dynamic. And at this point, Claire needs something to shake up the status quo. With Summer no longer a factor, Allison Lanier is out. It won't be her making waves in Claire's romance with Kyle. And don't we all predict that Victor's scheme to weaponize Audra will blow up in both of their faces? On The Young and the Restless, Tracy Bregman has played Lauren Fenmore Baldwin since 1983. She also appeared on Y and R's sister show, The Bold and the Beautiful, in the same character in several crossovers starting in 1992, including one in 1995, which lasted several years. In 2000, Bregman returned to The Young and the Restless. The actress did a Fast Five today to give fans a little glimpse into who she is. On the set of Y and R's Crimson Lights, Tracy Bregman guested today on Y and R Insider's Fast Five to answer some questions about herself to be shared with fans. The first question she was asked was what day of the week she likes the best. "My favorite day of the week is Sunday," Bregman replied. "I love Sundays. I've always loved Sundays." As for what she likes to do on Sunday, Bregman said, "Family day, walk to the farmer's market, those kinds of thing." Bregman's next question made her laugh. What was her first car? Bregman said it was a gold Honda Civic. Or no, a Honda Accord hatchback, which they only made for a couple of years, she said. The car was actually her mom's, but when Bregman turned 16, she took over the payments. The next question wasn't so easy. How many pets does Bregman have? That's a hard one. Maybe 11, maybe it's 9, she wondered. She laughed that counting could take a while. As for the last question, Bregman shared a little-known fact about herself. "I'm not sure that most people know that I had an English accent for the first, almost 10 years of my life," she said for the final question. Bregman was asked who the last cast member was that texted her. "Oh, it would be Christian, because we've been working together," she said, referring to Christian Leblink, who plays her character's husband, Michael Baldwin. She added, "But the last call was Michelle Stafford. The last text before was Beth Maitland." Bregman smiled that they all stayed in pretty close contact. "It's really nice," she said. Fun fact: in 2010, Bregman and Leblink appeared in singer Reba McEntire's music video for her song, "I Keep On Loving You." The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, May 6, reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott's news will enrage Jack Abbott, while Victoria Newman spills to Nick Newman. Tessa Porter will also see some warning signs, so here's what Y and R fans can expect. For starters, Jack will sense that Diane is down in the dumps, so he'll wonder what's bothering her. Dan will offer updates on Billy Abbott's recent visit to the Abbott mansion and the harsh criticism he delivered regarding the renovations. Since everyone else has been gushing like crazy and praising Diane for a job well done, it was a tough blow for Billy to disapprove. Diane may start second-guessing her whole plan and wonder if she should have just left the Abbott house alone. Of course, Jack will remind Diane that he absolutely loves what she did with the place. There's a good chance Jack will think Billy is just being ornery and pushing Diane's buttons on purpose. Regardless, Jack will fume over the way Billy handled the situation, so it won't be long until he tracks his brother down to demand an apology for Diane. In the meantime, Victoria will open up to Nick about some things that are troubling her. That could involve some concerns about Claire Newman moving in with Kyle Abbott too soon, especially since Victor Newman isn't going to react well. However, the more pressing issue on Victoria's mind will presumably be Cole Howard's medical crisis. As Victoria awaits Cole's test results, she may admit to Nick that she's worried something is terribly wrong. Will Cole's doctor ultimately offer a terrible diagnosis and some unsettling predictions about the road ahead? Next, Tessa will have some worries of her own thanks to Maria Copeland's increasingly weird behavior. Maria is feeling guilty over what she did on her business trip, so she'll raise red flags and make Tessa wonder what's really up with her. Did Maria drunkenly cheat on Tessa, or could there be another explanation? Maria has been vague about what happened so far, but it's clear that she fears it could blow up her marriage. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Tessa may lean on Daniel Romalotti Jr. for support as she deals with this Maria mystery, so stay tuned. It's been months since the residents of Genoa City first mentioned Aristotle Dumas on The Young and the Restless. We've only gotten a few details about this mysterious person so far. We're interested in seeing how this mystery unfolds. Dumas seems to have ties with someone in Genoa City. Victor admitted that he's worked with this person over the years, which came as no surprise to anyone. But what's interesting is that even he doesn't know who this Dumas person is. They never met in all the time they worked together. You would think Victor would want to meet his friends and enemies face to face. So far, a few clues have been put together. Dumas is a reclusive billionaire, which is why no one has seen them before. Victor admitted that he was curious about meeting this person. Michael said there were no public photos or appearances made by this person. He also theorized that Dumas could a group of people. The billionaire has gone through great lengths to not be identified, which is amazing in the age of social media. Michael and Victor aren't the only ones who want to know who Dumas is. Sally told Billy that someone named Aristotle Dumas has been trying to contact him. Even Damien told Lily that he knows of Dumas. This mystery has us speculating. One name that's been thrown around is Tucker. The reason why he could be contacting Billy is that he wants to use him in a bidding war with Victor. Also, the Jabba-Glissade merger is in the works. Victor wants to use this to take down Jack again. Tucker used to own Glissade until Audra snatched it out from him. But is Tucker the billionaire they speak of? Sure, he knows how to enter Genoa City in grand style. but he's not good with his schemes since they never succeed. Dumas is a name we've been hearing since late 2024, yet no one has come forward. We hope that we will meet this person or group of people soon. In a pivotal turn of events on The Young and the Restless, Jack Abbott finds himself confronting a devastating betrayal that threatens not only his business empire, but the very core of his family. Suspicion had been mounting for weeks, and now Jack's worst fears have come true. Claire, a trusted presence within the Abbott household and Kyle's beloved partner, has secretly leaked sensitive company information to none other than Victor Newman. What began as quiet unease over Claire's behavior evolved into a full-blown crisis. Initially welcomed into the Abbott family for her warmth and seeming loyalty, Claire appeared to seamlessly integrate herself into their lives, particularly through her close bond with Kyle. However, Jack's instincts told a different story. Subtle inconsistencies in her actions and late-night visits to his private office raised red flags he could no longer ignore. Jack's suspicions peaked when he intercepted Claire texting Victor, the Abbott family's longtime rival. For Jack, who has spent decades safeguarding his legacy from Newman's manipulative tactics, this act was unforgivable. Upon investigating further, Jack discovered that confidential documents, integral to his business and personal affairs, had been accessed without his consent. The implications were severe. If these documents reached Victor, the consequences could dismantle everything Jack had worked to build. Confronting Claire in his office, Jack caught her in the act. The confrontation was explosive, with Jack demanding answers and Claire scrambling to justify her actions. Despite her attempts to appear innocent, she eventually confessed under pressure. In a dramatic revelation, Claire claimed she had been coerced by Victor under threats to her life. A confession that momentarily shook Jack's resolve, but failed to absolve her in his eyes. The situation intensified with Kyle and Diane's unexpected arrival. Kyle, still deeply in love with Claire, rushed to her defense, unable to believe she could willingly betray them. He pleaded for understanding, asserting that Claire had been manipulated and acted under duress. However, Jack, focused on the gravity of the betrayal, remained unconvinced. His priority was the protection of the Abbott family and the preservation of its legacy. Upon reviewing Claire's phone, Jack confirmed his worst fears. The message thread between Claire and Victor contained damning evidence, direct communication and transfers of strategic business information. The magnitude of the breach was staggering. Jack, overwhelmed with disbelief and rage, denounced Claire for placing the entire family at risk. Despite Claire's emotional breakdown and Kyle's continued support, Jack's trust was irreparably broken. His final words to her were clear. She had crossed a line from which there was no return. With emotions running high, Jack exited the room, leaving behind a devastated Claire and a torn Kyle. As the Abbott family reels from this betrayal, the repercussions continue to unfold. Kyle is left grappling with the reality of Claire's actions, torn between love and loyalty. Meanwhile, Jack must urgently strategize damage control, aiming to reclaim the compromised documents and shield the family from further fallout. This storyline marks a turning point in The Young and the Restless, showcasing the series' signature blend of personal betrayal, high-stakes drama, and emotional complexity. As viewers await the next chapter, the future of the Abbott family remains uncertain. Will Claire find redemption? Can Jack repair the damage? And will Kyle be able to reconcile his feelings with the truth? The Young and the Restless is stirring intense speculation with the rising buzz around the mysterious billionaire Aristotle Dumas, an unseen yet powerful figure whose name has been echoing across Genoa City since late 2024. Despite his growing influence, Dumas remains entirely absent from the screen, fueling theories and debates about his true identity. Dumas is described as a reclusive billionaire with deep connections, including a long-standing partnership with Victor Newman, who, notably, has never met him in person. This revelation alone has escalated curiosity, suggesting a deeper layer of secrecy. Michael Baldwin proposed a bold theory. Dumas may not be a single person, but a collective entity operating under a unified alias, possibly to conceal a larger agenda. Adding to the intrigue is Dumas's near-total absence from the digital world. In an era dominated by online footprints, the lack of any verifiable presence, including on platforms like LinkedIn, raises red flags. It signals either extreme caution or significant power. Speculation around Dumas's real identity has revived fan interest in familiar characters. Kane Ashby, last seen entangled in intense storylines, is now being linked to the Dumas mystery. Daniel Goddard, the original Kane, is currently active on General Hospital, but fans haven't ruled out a recast or a reintroduction under a different persona. Some have even pointed to Billy Flynn's recent appearance as a possible younger Kane or his associate. Kane's intelligence, resources, and personal motivation, especially concerning his past with Lily Winters, make him a compelling candidate. A rebranded return would introduce emotional complexity and narrative depth, especially if he's seeking redemption or revenge. Other possibilities include Tucker McCall, known for his extravagant moves and strategic presence. However, Dumas appears far more calculated and controlled, making it unlikely that Tucker is the man behind the curtain. With no confirmation of Trevor Street John's return, Tucker's involvement seems doubtful at this stage. There's also speculation that Aristotle Dumas might not be anyone we've seen before. He could be tied to legacy families, perhaps a long-lost Newman, or someone from Victor's shadowy past with unfinished business. Michael Baldwin's theory about Dumas being a shell corporation or front for a broader revenge campaign also aligns with the show's corporate power struggles and the ongoing merger wars. Lily Winters has taken a central role in unraveling the Dumas mystery. Her investigative efforts, including a key conversation with Damien, are pushing the narrative forward. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott is now in direct contact with Dumas, suggesting that the storyline is approaching a major reveal. As the suspense builds, The Young and the Restless continues to excel in delivering unpredictable twists. Whether Dumas turns out to be a reinvented Kane Ashby, a new business magnate, or a ghost from the past with a new face and motive, the payoff promises to be dramatic. The calm facade of Genoa City is shattered as The Young and the Restless dives into one of its most explosive story arcs to date. Long-held secrets surface, reshaping the lives of the Abbott and Newman families in irreversible ways. At the heart of the turmoil is Diane Jenkins, whose carefully guarded past finally collides with her present, and the fallout is devastating. Diane Jenkins' long-standing deception reaches a breaking point when she confesses a truth that leaves Jack Abbott reeling. He is not Kyle's biological father. In a moment loaded with emotional gravity, Diane reveals that Kyle's real father is Ian Ward, a man known not only for his dark history, but also as one of Genoa City's most feared figures. Jack, caught completely off guard, is overwhelmed by the revelation. The foundation of his relationship with Diane and his identity as Kyle's father disintegrates in seconds. Diane's motives, rooted in protecting Kyle from his disturbing lineage and preserving their family, no longer shield her from the consequences of her silence. With Ian's return, the truth could no longer stay buried. Presumed dead following a violent incident at Newman Ranch, Ian Ward's survival was a shock no one anticipated. Revived mysteriously in the back of an ambulance, Ian disappeared without a trace, until now. His sudden reappearance sends ripples of fear throughout the community. Ian is not back by coincidence. He returns with a calculated vendetta. Targeting Claire, whom he blames for the death of his son Jordan, Ian sets into motion a plan of revenge aimed at dismantling the Newman family from the inside. His twisted goals include eliminating Cole, Claire's partner, as a means of inflicting maximum emotional pain. Ian's fury is methodical, and his determination to exact vengeance knows no bounds. Nick Newman, skeptical of Ian's supposed death, initiates a full-scale investigation. Using his influence and resources, Nick demands answers from the authorities, uncovering layers of conspiracy surrounding Ian's survival. As his inquiry deepens, Nick begins to see a broader scheme at play, one that points to a calculated cover-up and a larger threat to his family. The deeper Nick digs, the more he uncovers Ian's disturbing obsession with Claire and his plans for retribution. Nick realizes that Ian's return isn't just a personal attack. It's a dangerous move that could unravel everything the Newman family has worked to protect. As Ian tightens his grip on Genoa City, Claire finds herself in an emotional battleground. Her relationship with Cole becomes collateral damage in Ian's war of revenge. Forced to choose between protecting her loved ones and confronting a man who thrives on destruction, Claire must navigate a path fraught with danger and emotional fallout. Cole, drawn into Ian's crosshairs, is pushed to his limits. Their love, once a source of strength, now stands at the edge of collapse. Whether their bond can survive Ian's relentless pursuit remains uncertain. With Kyle's paternity exposed and Ian's wrath threatening to engulf the town, Genoa City stands at the edge of chaos. Jack and Diane's relationship is left hanging in the balance, while the Newman family braces for the impact of Ian's destructive ambitions. The return of old enemies and unburied secrets has changed everything, and no one will emerge unscathed. As The Young and the Restless unpacks this high-stakes drama, the show ventures into uncharted territory. Loyalty, identity, and survival are all on the line, and the emotional toll promises to redefine the lives of every character involved. Genoa City will never be the same again. In the latest developments on The Young and the Restless, Maria Copeland finds herself at the center of an emotionally charged and mysterious storyline that has left viewers speculating about a possible betrayal or something far more sinister. Following a recent business trip, Maria returned to Genoa City visibly shaken. Her once close relationship with Tessa Porter has become strained, and her distant behavior has sparked concern. What began as subtle tension has now escalated into a profound emotional crisis. Fans were quick to notice that Maria's interactions with Tessa were marked by unease and detachment, indicating a deeper, more disturbing undercurrent. The situation intensified when Maria confided in her mother, Sharon Newman. During a conversation at Crimson Lights, Sharon sensed her daughter was burdened by more than just travel fatigue. Maria described her isolation during the trip and the emotional weight of past trauma, particularly the turmoil caused by her father, Ian. While recounting her experience, she revealed an episode of excessive drinking, which she was adamant Tessa must never know about. This marked the beginning of what appears to be a much darker narrative. Although details remain unclear, Maria's evasive behavior suggests she may have betrayed Tessa in a significant way, possibly even becoming involved with another person. Her reluctance to be transparent with Sharon, someone she typically trusts, implies the gravity of her actions. The magnitude of her guilt and the secrecy surrounding the trip point toward a serious emotional or moral breach. As speculation grows, some fans propose an unsettling theory. Could Maria have crossed a line beyond infidelity? The intensity of her shame and fear hints at a scenario that involves more than a romantic indiscretion. Some theorize that Maria may have inadvertently caused someone harm, or worse, during her trip. The possibility of an accidental death, perhaps while under the influence or in an emotionally unstable state, is being considered among fan circles. Maria's attempts to shield Tessa from the truth appear rooted in a desperate need to preserve their relationship. For Maria, Tessa represents a source of stability and unconditional acceptance. Losing her would be devastating. Her silence may be a way of sparing Tessa the emotional damage, even if it means carrying the full weight of guilt herself. Sharon's concern grows as she senses that Maria's silence is not merely a result of shame, but a reaction to something more consequential. Despite Sharon's supportive nature and history of non-judgment, Maria remains closed off, suggesting the consequences of her actions could have far-reaching implications. The narrative has taken a darker turn with the suggestion that Maria might be involved in a violent incident. While this theory is speculative, it aligns with her increasingly troubled demeanor. Her inner turmoil, marked by fear, shame, and detachment, indicates that the secret she carries is potentially catastrophic. If Maria did cause harm or was involved in an incident leading to someone's death, the emotional aftermath could ripple beyond her relationship with Tessa. It could threaten the unity of the Newman family and alter Maria's future in Genoa City. Her current psychological state suggests she is torn between revealing the truth and protecting the people she loves. The storyline now stands at a critical juncture. Whether Maria will choose to confess or continue concealing the truth remains uncertain. The emotional stakes are higher than ever, and the impact of her decisions could change everything. Viewers are left to wonder if redemption is possible, or if this secret will ultimately destroy the life Maria has worked so hard to build. Over the next 2 weeks on The Young and the Restless, viewers can expect escalating tensions across key family lines, particularly involving Claire, Kyle, and the ever-dominant Victor Newman. Claire continues to struggle with her desire for acceptance within the Newman family. Nikki Newman, always pragmatic, warns Claire that winning Victor's approval is neither simple nor likely. While Claire remains hopeful, Nikki's caution prompts deep internal conflict, forcing Claire to reevaluate whether her relationship with Kyle is worth the complications of trying to win over Victor. Kyle's decision to move into Adam Newman's former apartment with Claire triggers Victor's disapproval, viewing the act as a direct challenge to Newman legacy. Victor's response is swift and hostile, leading Kyle to confide in Jack and vow to push back. However, Jack warns that going head-to-head with Victor could provoke unforeseen consequences. Meanwhile, Claire finds herself caught between her loyalty to Kyle and the unyielding pressure from the Newman family. As the friction intensifies, it becomes clear that Claire's emotional well-being and her romantic future are both at risk. Elsewhere in Genoa City, business maneuverings grow tense. Damien orchestrates a meeting between Lily and Aristotle Dumas with unclear motives, potentially jeopardizing careers. Holden Novak becomes increasingly suspicious of Damien's manipulations, fearing that the meeting could destabilize relationships and provoke firings. Victor continues to test his employees, placing new pressure on Billy Abbott at Newman Media. Billy, already uncertain about his place in the company, now faces loyalty trials engineered by Victor. Chelsea remains committed to her work at Newman Media, but the ongoing friction, especially with Adam involved, leaves her on edge. In another storyline, Cole confronts alarming health news. As Victoria reels from her brother's medical condition, a new dilemma emerges. Should Cole be honest with Claire about his illness, or protect her from the emotional burden? The decision weighs heavily, especially with Victoria urging transparency and Cole fearing irreparable fallout. Back in the Newman household, Claire's situation worsens as Kyle's anger reaches a breaking point. Blaming both the Newmans and Claire for recent developments, Kyle lashes out. Claire faces mounting pressure as Saul, a mutual confidant, warns that unresolved conflict could destroy everything. Adding to the turmoil, Phyllis Summers plots revenge against Billy and Sally for past betrayals. Her vendetta becomes a source of dread for Sally, who fears professional and personal sabotage. At Newman Media, the tension between Phyllis and Sally simmers dangerously. Meanwhile, Nate Hastings grows concerned about Audra Charles' partnership with Victor. Audra appears overly confident in a business deal that may not be what it seems. Nate suspects she's being manipulated, especially upon learning that Audra lacks proper funding. Worse, Audra's secret mission to sabotage Kyle and the Abbotts could backfire, putting her future and relationships at risk. As allegiances shift and rivalries sharpen, the next 2 weeks on The Young and the Restless promise emotional confrontations, strategic deceptions, and personal reckonings. From Claire's crossroads to Victor's manipulations, no relationship or alliance will go untested. In a gripping storyline that blends familial conflict with corporate intrigue, The Young and the Restless unveils a deeply emotional chapter centered on young Harrison and the adult shaping his fragile world. As Summer Newman departs Genoa City for a high-profile role in Milan, Harrison is left without the maternal figure he's grown attached to, setting the stage for profound emotional upheaval. Summer's sudden exit, framed as a strategic move to re-establish Marchetti's European presence, masks the personal cost, her complete absence from Harrison's daily life. While corporate doors open in Milan, the emotional doors in Genoa City quietly close for the child she once claimed as her own. The Abbott family, particularly Kyle, must now face the consequences of years spent avoiding the truth about Harrison's origins. Previously, Harrison's biological mother, Tara Locke, was erased from his life without explanation. There were no stories, no photographs, only silence. Now, with Summer gone, Kyle is forced to confront the painful choices he once made in the name of protection and legacy. His guilt over sending Tara away resurfaces when Harrison, seeking answers, asks to see a picture of the mother he's never known. The emotional impact is immediate and devastating. Meanwhile, Claire, Kyle's current partner, finds herself stepping into a maternal role she never asked for. Initially welcomed into the Abbott estate as Kyle's poised and supportive fiancée, Claire now faces a far more complex challenge: becoming a stable presence for a child already abandoned by 2 women he called mom. Her involvement evolves from romantic partner to emotional anchor as she stands beside Kyle, vowing to help Harrison reunite with Tara. This promise, made quietly in the Abbott sunroom, marks a turning point. For the first time, someone in Harrison's life chooses him out of love rather than obligation or strategy. Claire's transformation into a genuine maternal figure redefines her place in the Abbott narrative. No longer a placeholder, she becomes the one person willing to repair the fractures left by those before her. As this emotional arc unfolds, Genoa City's power players are forced to reevaluate their priorities. Behind the glossy facade of fashion launches and boardroom deals lies a more profound reckoning: a child's need for truth and stability. The question is no longer whether Marchetti's future lies in Milan, but whether Harrison's emotional future can be salvaged by those who claim to love him. Kyle, burdened by past mistakes, must rise above his fear of confrontation and legacy. Claire, learning in real time what it means to be a mother, must embrace the vulnerability of honest caregiving. And Summer, now far removed in Milan, will eventually have to reconcile her ambition with the son she left behind. In The Young and the Restless, legacy has always been a central theme. But now, it's not about fashion empires or family fortunes. It's about emotional inheritance. Harrison's story is becoming the axis on which both the Abbott and Newman dynasties must pivot. Only through truth, reconciliation, and genuine love can the damage of the past be undone. In a dramatic turn of events on The Young and the Restless, the Newman family is once again thrust into chaos as deeply buried secrets begin to surface. The latest storyline centers around Claire's true parentage, which ignites a chain reaction that threatens to dismantle the stability the Newmans have fought hard to preserve. At the heart of the upheaval is Nikki Newman, who uncovers a revelation that Claire is not the biological daughter of Victoria and Cole as previously believed. This unexpected truth sends shockwaves through the family, particularly affecting Victoria, who has always embraced Claire as her own. The emotional weight of the discovery not only forces Victoria to question everything she thought she knew, but also destabilizes Claire, who is suddenly confronted with an identity crisis. Nikki's pursuit of the truth about Claire's origins becomes all-consuming. Determined to uncover the identity of Claire's real father, Nikki begins peeling back layers of secrecy, unearthing long-hidden deceptions that could fracture the family beyond repair. Her investigation leads her deeper into a dangerous narrative involving figures from the family's troubled past, including the manipulative Jordan and the criminal mastermind Ian Ward. The situation intensifies when Ian Ward kidnaps both Victoria and Claire, escalating the threat level exponentially. Ian's vendetta against the Newman family resurfaces with renewed fury, suggesting that his actions are part of a larger strategy to dismantle the Newman legacy from within. His influence appears to stretch further than anticipated, as Cole returns from his disappearance, afflicted by a mysterious illness that sparks fears of deliberate poisoning. Cole's declining health becomes a focal point of concern. Despite his attempts to downplay the severity, his symptoms grow more alarming. Violent coughing and visible weakness suggest something far more sinister at play. The Newmans begin to suspect that Ian could be orchestrating Cole's condition, possibly as part of his larger revenge plot. The idea that Cole's affliction is the result of a targeted attack places the entire family on edge. Victoria's emotional arc takes center stage as she grapples with the fear of losing Cole. Once known for her composed, calculated demeanor, she now faces a deeply personal crisis that threatens to undo her recent emotional growth. The possibility of Cole's death could drive her back into the cold, emotionally distant persona she fought so hard to shed. Meanwhile, Claire's journey grows increasingly complex. Struggling with the loss of identity and the looming possibility of losing the only father she has ever known, Claire finds herself caught between grief and uncertainty. Her confrontation with Jordan yields few answers, intensifying her feelings of betrayal and isolation. As the medical community fails to provide clarity on Cole's condition, the family is left in a state of helplessness. The potential consequences of his death loom heavily, particularly for Victoria and Claire, who must prepare for a future defined by loss and emotional upheaval. This storyline not only explores the immediate fallout of Nikki's discovery, but also delves into the broader implications for the Newman family. If Cole succumbs to his illness, the emotional devastation could redefine family dynamics. Victor and Nikki, long-standing pillars of the family, are forced to reckon with their inability to shield their loved ones from tragedy. The question remains whether Cole's illness is a tragic coincidence or a calculated move by Ian Ward to dismantle the Newmans from the inside out. As viewers watch the tension build, the stakes grow higher, with the possibility that the family's legacy could be permanently altered.